Hello, amigos. Hope all of you are doing well and hope your preparation and revision is on super fire mode. Sir, why, sir? You know how it is going. Come on, guys. That's how it is. So cheer up. It's okay. So, yes, people. Couple of days ago, I had uploaded your 5 day study planner. And as per that, today we are on day three end, right? And I'm recording this video at 6:50 p.m. And by now you should have been done with almost 70 to 75% of your preparation, right? And there were a couple of students who had their mass media examination yesterday. So you guys would have started your preparation only by yesterday. So for you guys, the planner is different. And if you are struggling in terms of understanding how to prepare the planner, guys, just give me a call. I'll help you out. In a way that how things could be planned in these 3.5 days, right? So moving on, the intention of this video today is, guys, to highlight certain pointers which I felt is very important. After I've been discussing with a couple of students in these 3 days, and I also wanted to highlight a couple of points from the board examinations point of view, so that you could take adequate care of that. So the first point that I wanted to discuss is, guys, you very well know that in the board planner video, I laid the emphasis on revising. Whatever you study on day zero, day one morning, the first thing you have to do is revise and then do with the day one studies. Day two, you have to do a revision, cumulative revision of day zero and day one. Day three morning, you have to do a cumulative revision of day zero, one, and two. Guys, the logic is very simple. When you get the question paper in the board exam, the moment you look at the question, the first thing that you want is, the moment you read the question, is the answer to be struck in your mind. So the answer would strike in your mind faster. The faster that would depend on how much you recollect during these preparation period. The frequent revisions will enable you to sharply recollect those points and reproduce during the right time in the examination. So revision and recollection is very important. It is not necessary that you have to do the revision or recollection only during the morning period. Whenever you get time throughout the day, keep on recollecting. Not once, you can do more than once also whenever you find time. So first important point that all of you have to take care is revision and recollection. So those who have not done so far, please take this very seriously. You have balance 3 more days left. So those 3 days, those 3 mornings, you have to do all the recollections and revisions of all the concepts cumulatively. And for doing a quick revision, you would have kept all the pointers handy, I believe. So if you have your pointers handy with you, the revision and recollections could be very fast. I asked you to prepare a separate notebook wherein you will capture all your important points, assumptions, format, formulas, concepts, etc. Moving on, the second point which I wanted to discuss is, practice at least one question from each concept in proper format. See, often students tell me that, sir, during exam we had the difficulty in remembering the format or recollecting the format, or we ended up spending a lot of time creating the format because we were a little slow. So this is because whenever you practice the question, you practiced it very roughly in a short manner. That is fine, but when you go for a board examination or any examinations, it's very important that you also practice certain questions with proper format. So few questions with proper format, and few places you can just practice doing only the format, so that when you go into the examination hall, you'll not be confused that what is the format for this particular concept, or what is the format for that particular concept, or which column should I have or which column I should not have. So that confusion, if you want to avoid, it's very important that you have to practice the questions, at least one question from each concept in the proper format, so that you can recollect it and reproduce it very fastly during the examination. The third point is, I've made an exclusive video on this. How do we utilize the new answer sheet format? For those who could not watch that video, or who don't have time to watch such a lengthy video, in short and crisp manner, I'll tell it. Guys, it's very important that the day when you take up your accounts board exam, you should be very clear, certainly clear, 100% clear in the mind that how are you going to present in that paper. Now, if you think that on the day of examination or during the examination, depending on the situation and circumstances, I'll make a decision that whether I'll be utilizing the rule sheet or whether I'll be utilizing the format. If that is the thought process, you'll be in deep trouble. Guys, in the examination hall, under sheer pressure, you will not have the mindset to decide what to do, what not to do. So what do we do now? These 5 days what you've got, you have to ensure that you practice in these new answer sheet format and decide for yourself that what are you going to do. The first option that I can give you is that utilize only the rule sheet and completely leave apart the format. This is one option. A lot of students are following this. Even you can do that. Few students are following this way where they're utilizing the rule sheet fully, but wherever they're getting a full journal question, that is a question where there is exclusive only journal, or there is a question where there is exclusively ledger. So that question alone they'll be utilizing in the format, and all the other parts they'll be doing it in the rule sheet. So these are the two options. I think that is the best you can do as of now. Third option is there. Third option is basically I have discussed about it in detail in the new answer sheet format video. So if you want to understand that, you can have a look at that video, but I would not advise you to do that. I think these are the two best things that you can do. In short, if you want me to tell, it's basically whatever questions you write in rule sheet. Let's suppose there is a question where there is a combination of journal plus ledger plus working notes, etc. So you can do the working note in the rule sheet and give a reference that on so and so page number there is a journal, and on so and so page number there is a ledger. So you have to give a cross referencing in the respective pages. This will enable the person who is correcting to connect to that page properly. uh, on the other hand, if you feel that if there is a question where there's working note, journal format, ledger, everything put together, and instead of doing all this drama, if you want to just write everything in rule sheet and draw the format for yourself, that is the best part you can do again, right? So I would suggest you to utilize the first two parts. That is best. I would suggest. Rest you guys can decide how do you want to take it further. If you have any other suggestions in your mind, any other thought process, you can just give me a call. We can have a discussion. If it works out, then we can definitely do it, right? The next point that I wanted to discuss with all of you is that read the question properly if need be 2 to 3 times. Some people, what happens is when they read a question during that 15 minutes of time, there are certain questions where in one go you would not get the 100% understanding of that question, or you might not be able to get the 100% solution for that question. Because what happens in that 15 minutes, you're in hurry burry to read the questions, all the questions. So your mind is not focused firmly on one particular portion. It's on the mode to run fast. So it's very obvious that things will not immediately pop up because there is no 100% concentration. So don't panic. If you come across any questions which you feel that this is challenging, wait for that moment when you actually deal with that question in the proper 3 hours period of examination time. So in that time, read one question one time, two time, if need be 3 or 4 times. The more and more you read the question, the more and more concentration has been, developed on that particular question, and things from your subconscious mind automatically will start coming up to your conscious mind. So have that faith, have that belief. It has happened with me also. It has happened with a lot of your seniors also, and this is how we will tackle it. So if you come across any question which is very challenging in that initial 15 minutes of reading time, do not panic. Leave that question for the later stage where you would actually take up that question and do the attempting of that question, right? So do not be bothered about that. The next point is read the question paper, read the question segment or the part, part A, part B instruction, very carefully. For each part, there'll be instructions, no? Out of these many questions, please answer this many questions. So read that very carefully. By any chance, let's say the format that we've been expecting so far, there is a different format that has been given in the board exam. So you should be 100% conscious that what instruction has been given. For example, let's say in part A, I'm just telling for example, let's say there are 25 questions, out of which you are supposed to attend, let's say 23 questions. Example I'm telling. This is the practice so far. Now let's suppose in exam they change this mechanism, and they give an instruction telling that in part A now that you have to attend, out of 30 questions you have to attend 25 questions or 26 questions. So don't be prefixed that so far in all the question paper pattern and sample paper we've been working on in this model, so same thing 100% should come. No. In case if there is something different coming, be prepared for it, right? So when you get the question paper, when you read any particular part or section, please read the instruction very carefully, that out of how many questions they're asking to attend, and be very careful with the or questions, right? So give that concentration in that part as well. The next point is Keep an approximate check on the time spent on each question. Guys, all of you know that you have 2.25 minutes per mark. For every single mark, you have 2.25 minutes. So if it's a 1 mark question, you have 2.25 minutes. If it's a 2 mark question, you have around 4.5 minutes, and so on. So all of you will be carrying the watch with all of you. If not, you should be having a clock in the examination hall. So keep an approximate check that when at what time are you starting to read the question, and what is the time when you're supposed to end it. Keep an approximate calculation. You cannot get too much into that. Why this is because you should not spend too much time on a particular question. The time that is allocated for the next question, if you eat away that time here itself, then you will not have the time for the other question and you will be under stress. So in examination hall, we have to be double sure that we are not into any situation that is putting us in stress. So keep an approximate check on the time. And if you feel that you're crossing the time limit, and still if you have not completed the question, or if you're not about you're nowhere near to complete that question, the best thing is skip that for a moment, go to the next question. At the end, come back sooner and try to complete it, right? The next important point is start with easy and small question. Often people do a mistake to start the question with lengthy questions, or in the tough questions. They feel that in the beginning itself the lengthy questions are over now, then at the end there'll not be too much of pressure. See, what happens is when you take up some lengthy questions, and if that turns out to be hard, and if you are not able to complete it within time, so you'll be under panic. So time is gone. And by any chance, if the answers are not getting correct, if you're not getting the right answers, if you get an slightest indication that you have screwed up somewhere in the beginning itself, so you will be under sheer pressure that one time is also gone, the answer is also wrong, and you will unnecessarily collapse. So it's very important. See, whatever be the situation during the examination, please ensure that the burden or the pain of one particular question should not be shifted or transferred to another question. When you begin any new question, you should start with the same energy and enthusiasm, leaving apart whatever the mistakes that is done in the previous question, and whatever experiences you have, leave it that then and then. Get like 100% disconnected, right? But having said that, we are human beings, so it's sometimes not easy to overcome certain mistakes that you've committed in question. So for that reason, we say that go with easy and small questions in the beginning. Easy questions, you'll get the answers right. Small questions means you'll be able to complete well within the time, well within the allocated time. So let's suppose it's a 2 mark question where you have allocated 4.5 minutes. If it is easy and small question, you might end up finishing that question in 2 minutes also. So you'll save extra time. So look at your confidence that one, you're getting the answers right. Second, you're able to do it, within the time. So the extra buffer time you have for the large questions. So that mindset is being developed in that way, right? So my suggestion is that if you've been doing a practice so far where you've been doing the big lengthy questions, tough questions in the beginning, at least in next 2 3 days, just take a couple of papers and try to solve the way I am saying. And if it is working out for you, continue. And others, those who are following this technique, stick on to that. If you're following with easy and small question, stick on to that. You know that within a part you can change the order. If you want to change the order and pick up those questions which are easy and smaller, just do it in the changed order. Because the initial few pages, if it is like everything is perfect, the presentation is neat, every answers that you're getting is correct, it gives a good confidence to the person who is correcting the paper, right? So it gives a good impression. So I'm not saying by that virtue they'll not correct the remaining paper, but then confidence is generated in the minds of the evaluator. So things could be in your favor to the extent of 0.5 to 1%, right? So for that reason, we say go with easy questions, small questions, and initial the questions what you take should everything be completed, nothing should be wrong, no cutting of the questions, no missing blank questions, nothing, everything should be covered, so that that confidence is generated in the minds of the evaluator. Some people ask me, sir, where do we allocate the space for the rough work? People see, what I would suggest is you can take the last 2 sheet, which is the ledger format, in case if you're not utilizing the format, the last 2 sheets you can take fully for your rough working, 2 or 3 sheets. In case if you're utilizing the format, then probably you can allocate the one last complete sheet for rough work. And in other sheets, either the bottom few lines or right corner, just put a column on the right hand side, or you can put a line in the below, the last below part of the sheet, and just make a note telling that this is a rough work, right? Just segregate that portion. So why I'm telling this is because a lot of time when you write the main answers, people scribble the rough work besides that without any proper column and demarcation. So often we get confused that is this a rough work or is this a fair work, you know. So put a column either at the right side corner or bottom page and make a note there's a rough space. If not, if you don't want that space to be too congested, so use that only for main answer working. You can use the last two sheets for your rough work, right? If you don't want to utilize the last two sheets for your rough work, then you can use each and every sheets the right corner or the bottom for the rough space. Last point, very important, do not leave any question unattempted. Maybe there are certain questions you want to solve it at the later stage, and you find that in last 5 minutes, you're about to finish and you have the last 5 minutes left, and still you're not clear what answer should I write. It write something income relevant. If it's a MCQ and if you're not very sure of the answers, do not leave it blank. Write something income. If luck favors you, and what if what you choose turns out to be right, so that'll be a bonus for you. So do not leave any questions unattempted. As long as theory and practical questions, write something relevant and come. Step marks will be granted, so at least to some extent we can grab the marks, right? So these were the quick pointers that I want to discuss, and if I come across anything else, I'll come out with another video. So all those people who have still not subscribed my channel, do quickly subscribe it. And if you like these pointers, do give me a like button in the video and do share with your maximum friends, right? So that's all from my side for this session, guys. I'll see you all in the next session. Until then, bye bye, see you, take care.